Hey Heather, it's Allison from Curio Design Studio, and this is the walkthrough for your preliminary presentation for your new house. And this, I'm basically just going to walk you through a couple documents which will be uploaded in your Basecamp project folder. This being the design document, and then this being your preliminary drawings for your contractor. So I'm just going to jump right in. And start kind of walking you through the model, just so you can kind of get just an overview of everything, and a little bit more detail, which is also kind of highlighted out in this design document, with some points for discussion and things for moving forward. So I'm just going to jump right in here. So this is the overview of your first floor and your basement, and we'll just kind of discuss room by room some of the design decisions and some of the changes, just so you can kind of have a good overview of everything that we're suggesting, and then you can have this file to reference back to if you have any questions or the contractor has any questions moving forward for quoting and everything in the next phase. So I'm going to start out in the kitchen, since that's going to be the biggest chunk of the budget, as well as the biggest amount of work. So you can kind of see this is an overview of your first floor, this being your front entry door coming through your staircase, dining room over here, living room here. This is your existing den area, and kitchen. So I'm going to jump right in here and we'll talk about a couple things. So basically, this layout is taking this window right here is where your existing bay window would be. So this layout is dependent on removing that bay window in order to kind of stretch your kitchen out a little bit and make it more functional and just a lot more workspace. So we would be removing this window and replacing actually with another window that's similar in size to the one that's already existing over the sink. I don't want to completely get rid of all the light that comes in through that window and has a great view out into the yard. I think it's really important to have that, and I think we can make up for plenty of storage elsewhere, that you don't need this expansive upper cabinets here. So I think a window would be a great opportunity there. Another thing we would be doing is removing the half wall that is existing. So currently it's somewhere right around my cursor right here. So we would be removing that completely, then matching and patching the floor so that it's just a continuous space there, and then that allows us to kind of bump the dining space a little bit more into that area. Yeah, the half wall is currently here lined up with this bulkhead, so letting us utilize this space a little bit more while still having this expanse of kitchen. Another thing that by removing this wall and kind of stretching this out a bit, it lets us have a lot more workspace, and it doesn't feel so crowded by having your fridge along this wall, because before your peninsula, was coming out right here, and so this was becoming a bottleneck, and this area workspace in here was becoming very tight. So now you've got a nice expanse here and a nice open space in front of your fridge area. Swinging around here, just a couple options I wanted to show you. I know this is showing both a range and wall oven, so this is just an option for you based on budget constraints and your preferences. So currently your range is located over here. We could just have a cooktop here with some cabinetry underneath, or do a range oven combo with a hood fan, but there is room to have a 30-inch wall mounted double oven here. So this would be kind of like a full height pantry with built around your existing fridge, and then we would incorporate the double ovens directly next to it, and then we would have a pantry taking up the remainder of that wall space. But this is just showing you a couple options there. Regardless, the cooktop is going to be over on this wall, probably nudged over a bit from where it currently is, just so we get a nice centered look with the backsplash. And then just spinning around here. So basically this would be a nice expansive work counter, new window as I mentioned before, and then just swinging this around. So we have room to create a little breakfast bar here with some pendant lighting. So this is just like a great spot for the kids in the morning to like pull up, have their cereal, but then also just having room for, you know, more family oriented seating directly adjacent to that. I'm just going to jump over to the design document really quick because I want to show you just the material board as we're pulling it right now. So a white base cabinet and upper cabinet, kind of a grayish wall, but then bringing in a lot of these warmer tones with the backsplash. And I'm showing you a couple different options here, which Kaylee has samples of for you. And we can discuss those and set up a meeting with her so you can get your hands on them and look at them. But kind of a warmer inspired neutral palette with pops of this like very light kind of bluish teal color, then just some different options for lighting. And I've touched on down here, we would do a mix of chrome finishes, so your appliances, the faucet, those kind of items would be that stainless finish, but I want to bring in a mixed finish as well. So the hardware being oil rub bronze, maybe the lighting, and depending on, you know, what you have a preference for, you know, if you like this option over this option, we'll do a mix. So, you know, there'll be a mix between stainless fixtures and oil rub bronze, or maybe stainless lighting and oil rub bronze hardware. So we'll kind of create a balance on that depending on you know, items that you excuse me, are really drawn to. I'm also suggesting some window treatments for this space, so doing, you know, a durable shade that, you know, can be clean. So we don't want to do necessarily like a Roman or a honeycomb shade or anything right over the sink in your workspace. So maybe a wooden blind, something that gives you privacy but could be wiped down if necessary. But then adding in a little bit of texture, color, and pattern by doing like either a valance or a faux Roman shade over mounted those wooden blinds. So again, just a little bit of texture and warmth and kind of interest in that space. I'm going to jump back into this now and hop over to the den area. So this, you can see the layout for your den. Not a whole lot is changing here. A couple things. This is the existing bulkhead that obviously would need to stay. But these are the beams that are in the ceiling, which I think would be really awesome to highlight those. So we've pulled a darker paint color to highlight those out and let them feel a little bit more architectural, and then added, as you had requested, some French doors that connect this space to the living room, so you have more of an open flow between all of these spaces. Let's jump in right here. This is showing your fireplace wall, so I think that has a lot of potential, a lot of great opportunity for texture and color. What I'm suggesting is to just whitewash the brick and then have a kind of a faux mantle surround built around it. So, you know, adding a couple side panels, a top panel with some accent trim, and then painting your mantle out white. And then if we wanted, doing some sort of textural wall element above this. So this is showing like a faux shiplap in a white paint, adding some lighting, and then doing like a large piece of artwork. I like the idea of doing some custom calligraphy, you know, a big print, you know, typography that says something that's kind of fun and meaningful to your family and kind of lets this space feel a little less informal, and let this space up in the front be the more formal living room. Swinging over here to the mudroom. So this is showing the tile, the flooring change. So all your wood flooring would be restained throughout the house to a little bit darker color, but since we're moving the laundry into the basement, this area is going to actually be a functional mudroom. So I'm suggesting using a tile basically from the garage entrance door all the way through to the mudroom. So this is a 12 by 24 tile. And then, yeah, so that kind of just protects this area where, you know, you're going to be coming in and out often. And then basically in the space that where the washer and dryer currently were living, we would have the room to do some custom cabinetry, or actually it doesn't necessarily have to be custom, but some sort of built-in cabinetry. So we've got storage here for coats and boots, some pull-out drawers, a little area for a bench where we could do a fun custom cushion, and then stick some hooks back in here. So there's a place for the kids to hang their coats and their stick their shoes away. So this becomes, you know, a really functional, pretty mudroom. Swinging over to the bathroom, and I'm going to jump back into this so you can see the scheme for the bathroom. But basically just pulling a little bit of a transitional floor tile, which is this hexagon in this kind of mixed texture pattern. This is actually really similar to the floor tile that is in the shower at Marlene's house. I don't know if you have seen that. But then just suggesting adding, you know, some wall tile, subway tile with a slight bevel on the walls, and then just a little bit of an accent glass strip around, and then of course a chair rail to top it all off. And then potentially, if you're interested in using a really overscaled damask wallpaper, so again, something kind of transitional, a more traditional pattern, but in a more modern scale, replacing all your fixtures, get a new pedestal sink in here, a new faucet that kind of coordinates to the style of the kitchen, again, bringing in that mixed finish of an oil rub bronze type mirror with these chrome fixtures. And then I'm also giving you, of course, an option for a wall paint, so it's similar color, but just I always think that a powder room is a really fun area to kind of add a contained pop of like pattern or color or something that's a little bit fun and unexpected. So let's think about that, whether it's this pattern or you're interested in the idea but maybe want to see some other patterns. I'd like to get your feedback on that as well. But you can kind of just see from this angle. So this would be kind of walking in from the dining room looking into the powder room. So having this really cool overscaled pattern, throwing some space for some awesome art up on the wall here, and then just kind of seeing the texture and the tile of the beveled subway tile there. All right, switching gears, I'm going to switch over to the basement. So a couple of things that I really want to touch on, and the main thing, which of course is detailed out in this document for your contractor to quote off of and to let us know if, you know, we're going to run into issues with this plan. The main thing would be the changing of the access to the existing bathroom so that you don't have to have your guests or whoever go through your laundry room. So the main thing here is just looking at this wall here. So currently you have a door right here. And then this goes into storage room, which backs up to, you know, the plumbing on the bathroom wall here. So what I'm suggesting is to just remove that door and create more of like a wide opening walkthrough, and then bump this wall back for the storage room. So you still have a fairly decent size storage room. You know, it's 8 by 10 almost. And then having a door here that goes into your powder room, powder room, I suppose, which actually would still connect through to the laundry room. So we would leave this existing door here. So if you're using the sauna, you can still have direct access to the bathroom, but your guests don't have to go through that way. So this would be a walk-through bathroom that would be easy to access from both sides. A little bit of a fun bathroom down here. We want to kind of play up something that's more for the girls. So doing a 12-inch stripe in a couple colors, but adding a pop of pink on the ceiling there. I'm going to swing down here so you can kind of see that that's detailed out in your design document as well. So that is basically everything for the main structural changes. Everything else should be detailed out in this document. So take some time to look it over and let me know if you have any questions. All of this will be uploaded in your Basecamp, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.